When? Okay. Hey there, everybody. We are doing US Championship V-Ball. That is the Japanese version of Super Spike V-Ball. We are not going to be doing anything that's any kind of a real speedrun category here, because when I submitted this to today's event, I was being obstinate, and I chose a version of the game that nobody speedran and did not have a leaderboard for. In the time since then, I got added as a mod, and now there is a leaderboard for it, but we are going to be playing a kind of weird exhibition match type thing here, because we're going to set the point value to 5 to keep the schedule on track here. But normally if you were speedrunning this game, you played at 15 points. So this is going to be kind of just a taste of what the V-Ball has in store for you. I am going to ask a favor of anyone who wants to participate in chat. If you go into the commands here and you type Spike Dead like that, you'll get that guy pop up, and anytime you see me get destroyed by the AI and knocked down, feel free to spam that all over the place in the chat. That's what that emote's there for, and it's lovely. You'll be seeing bodies flying all over the place in this game, and that's what the game is all about. So, we're gonna get started here. All we gotta do is come down into configuration. We're gonna set it to the hardest difficulty, and we're gonna set the point value down to 5. And I am not going to turn on trackball. That is if you had a trackball controller. I cannot imagine trying to play this with a trackball controller, but that option does exist, so if you are out there and you have that, get on it. I'll also show off that I live in Oregon, and Oregon is the one state that is not in this game's options. For whatever reason, for reasons we will never know, you cannot choose Oregon. So we're going to choose the next closest thing. And then I'm going to choose to play as Ed and Murphy here, who are the fast team. This is just my play preference. I like the way these guys handle. They are a bit weaker, but they move better, so that's the trade-off. The game gives you flexibility, and honestly, pretty much every team is viable in the speedrun sense, because everybody has had a good time with different teams. So, that's cool. Anyway, we're gonna get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So there's not gonna be a whole lot for me to talk about here. We're playing volleyball. Sometimes the AI will be bad like that and hit into the net or out of bounds. If they do, it's faster. Basically, we want to minimize the amount of time the ball is being touched or floating around in the air. So we want to just knock it over there as fast as possible. Because we're playing to 5 points, it's already playing the danger music. That's great. Very exciting, very fast-paced stuff here. The game is much more tense when you're playing up to 15 points. Oh, there they go. They just DQ'd themselves. Wah, team. Maybe we'll just have a straight sweep and no one will get knocked down, and I'll feel bad about asking for audience participation. So... Oh, there you go. There's one right there. Can't do anything about it. Sometimes the AI is just good. I could have done a fast return there, but we're not going to. When those sort of situations happen, you absolutely have no control over it. This isn't a popular enough game for anybody to have delved into the way that it's programmed. So there's no way to know if what team you're playing as impacts how, I don't know, destroyable your character is. Like I said, I am playing the weakest team theoretically, but I haven't really noticed any difference in terms of someone being less likely to get blasted around the court. As we increase in difficulty, we will experience that much more because the final teams are going to be very aggressive. Right now we're working our way through the US circuit. These boys are fairly low tier. They're going to keep making errors and stuff like that. It's not that big of a deal. We can kind of cruise on by. It's going to get problematic later on. There we go. If you want to be good at this game, you need to be able to mash, because you need to charge up your spike. If you can't mash, well, guess what? You are not going to do well at all. I think that's why I can get away with playing as this team, because theoretically they take longer to charge up a shot, but I seem to be able to mash fast enough that it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they could only afford, you know, so many character sprites. They didn't have the budget for more than, I think there are 3 different bodies in the whole game. There is a set of lady volleyball players in the code, but it's hidden away and you can't access them. I might have been able to get that. I would call that an error. See if we can make up for it. There we go. So yeah, like, the game is really straightforward in terms of, like, theoretical controls, right? You think that, it's simple, but then so much of it is based on, positioning, that if you are ever so slightly not in the right place and try to swing at the ball, you'll just whiff it. So there's a lot of me trying to be in exactly the right place to, not look like a fool. That's the goal. So, that comment about Double Dragon, yeah, probably. Because this game, as far as I know, runs on the same engine as Double Dragon 2. Because they built the arcade game, which came out first, to run on the same hardware, and you could get a kit to swap them out. So, one can only assume that they are absolutely the same, have the same problems, and it definitely does. I don't know if saying that it feels laggy is right. Sometimes it just outright ignores what you're trying to do, which is great in a game that you need to be responsive. And when I just mentioned that positioning and timing matters so much. So this thing is going on right here, where they are volleying the ball back. Okay, sure. That was one of those cases where it absolutely did not read my input. Anytime they volley the ball back to you, it's costing so much time. Like, it's crazy how much time you lose off of just, like, a single input being off. And in a lot of cases, there's nothing you can do about it. The game is very random. So it's built a lot on reaction and trying to mitigate the chaos. Yeah, like, I think that it's, you know, Technos wasn't that big of a company. I think it is literally the same staff that made Double Dragon 2 made this game. In fact, this game came out a month after Double Dragon 2 in the US. February 1990. So my general strategy that I'm doing here is I try to close the gap to my teammates so that I am shortening the amount of time it takes the ball to get set back to me. And then I'm trying to do a quick spike. Can't do anything about that. I got kaboomed real hard. I'm trying to do a quick spike and aim for... That's gonna be bad. Oh! Well. That's shameful. Aim for the place where the AI is not standing. Now, the AI moves around, so that's not going to work 100% of the time, but generally speaking, you want to try to pick a pocket and shoot for it. Now, sometimes the ball bounces way the hell off in the other direction, and there's no way you're going to close the gap to your partner, and that's when those sorts of timing things happen, but as far as I know, the direction that the ball goes is totally random and not something that you can control unless someone wants to look into the way the game's programmed and tell me otherwise. Oh, that was going out of bounds. I should have let it go. So yeah, if you're really good at mashing, then there's a reasonable chance that you could put up a competitive time in this game, because it's not a super active game, and I think a lot of people probably are deterred by the amount of random chance they have to put up with. I think that's fair. If you speedrun, let's say Double Dragon 2, it is literally the same problems, and same reasons you shouldn't be speedrunning that game. But I unfortunately chose to do both, and I have to live with those mistakes. We are carrying along through the World Cup right now. I have not really been paying attention to what team we're dealing with. In the Japanese cart, you have a selection of 3 out of 5 random countries, but they all play the same. They just like swap out the titles. It's really odd that they didn't just, make you play all the teams. And then we get to go to, I believe we are moving on to the semifinals now. We're gonna find out. Yeah, here we go. We're going up against the US Navy. You can see they actually bothered to give them their own unique sprites. Very strong, and they might win. Because we're only going to 5 points, like, there's a reasonable chance that they could do that. We'll do our best. Okay, so there you go, my ball went nowhere near me. Wow, nice. I didn't even talk about how you can block in this game, and I think it is a mistake. If you go up to the net and jump, you will do what they're going to do a lot, which is kind of stand in front of it and go vertical. That's not going to happen. That was a big flub on my part. Wow, alright. The problem with blocking is that the ball, because it just picks a random trajectory, it can very easily bounce off your hand and go out of bounds. And you just lose the point. So it's not great. I don't know exactly why it's so bad. The AI sometimes gets away with it, and good for them. But I would absolutely never choose to do it in a speedrun. Or I just wouldn't ever block. That would be my advice. Now we do have to win by 2 points. That is, I guess, volleyball rules. And this is unfortunately slow because we are tied right now. And we gotta get another point. Can't do anything about it. Like I said, they were very strong. Like, everything that's happened here outside of the one where I just whiffed a shot has just been them destroying me because they're strong, and it has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing input-wise. So you can see, from a speedrun perspective, that's real annoying, because it's just a massive time loss for no reason. But there we go, we got it. Luckily, the game is short, so you would just reset if that kind of thing happened to you. And it does happen, a lot. Here we are at the finals, going up against Russia, and they are, I would say, a little bit less of a problem than the Navy, but we'll see if they prove me wrong. They might. So far they are 2 for 2 on just destroying me. Hopefully I don't fail a serve, that'd be embarrassing. It happens, because serving is not easy. You have to press A, B, right, and A to serve the ball. Oh, this guy's going for defense. He tried. There you go, that was time. And the WA team pulls it out. And we are a great Vabal player. Vabal champion, even. Now, I don't really care what this time is because, you know, this doesn't count as a speedrun, really. You don't play to 5 points, there's no category for that. Unless like, 50 people all of a sudden decided to take up this game and everybody wanted to play to 5 points, then I would make a category for it. But that's just not the way it is right now. Because right now the board is already pretty... there's 3 different regions, and there's 3 different difficulties, and then there's set or no set because it changes the way that you interact with your teammates, and it's completely different controls, so there's all sorts of different ways you can play this game, so adding in points on top of that is just kind of a mess, so I think that we're good with what we've got. That was Vabal. I'll let you decide what the V stands for, and I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. You know, the game is really obnoxious to learn. If anybody here tries to play it casually and they have like no prior experience with it, strong chance you'll just like miss the ball constantly and be really mad at it. But then you kind of get used to it, and then it just becomes a matter of perseverance. So, I don't know. Let that be a life lesson. All you have to do is not give up, and you'll eventually be a Vabal champion. Thanks for hanging out, and that's it for me. Take care, everybody.